Hola, my name is Gizelle Flores, and I am a media production sophomore, and currently your marketing chair. And I'm really excited to be running for your communications director. So I think, we all know I'm a little bit of a black sheep. I'm a media production major filled with a bunch of engineers, and at times it can be scary, But the beautiful thing about SHPE is that you do not have to be a Hispanic or engineer, And SHPE and amazing leadership has taught me that I could have done anything, And I put my foot in, and I had the privilege to go to national convention. I did things that I never would have thought I'd done. I talked to recruiters. I made connections that I still keep up with today. And instead of seeing my major as such a burden, which I did a lot of the time, I started seeing it as an asset, as an advantage, a skill that not a lot of people have. So with my skills with storytelling, camera production, and design, I want to use all of that to show the world how amazing SHPE is and what it can do for everybody. Some of my goals within communications directing would be to highlight more of the smaller events that I believe get glossed over, record them more, post them more. And this would also come to my second point, which would be to have an editable drive for all members to be able to go to see their pictures after every event, so that not only the SHPE grow within Instagram, who wouldn't want to post a nice picture of them at a SHPE event? 30 seconds. And lastly, I would love to highlight mentorship, and more of its mentorship and LinkedIn, professionals. LinkedIn would be important to highlight individual success, not just volunteering, internships, and other great milestones that people accomplish. So yeah, SHPE has given me more than just a job, you guys. It's given me a purpose, it's given me a familia, and it's given me opportunities that I never would have thought of. So I promise, as your communications director, that with creativity, with passion, and with love will come every post, picture, and project. Thank you so much.
Second. Okay. So part of being communications director involves juggling multiple platforms, last-minute updates, and regular deadlines. How do you plan to stay organized and ensure consistent, timely communication every week?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I learned this from you. We should have a drive where all the chairs, put all their information in, all their weekly posts, the things they want to do, always communicating with your communications director. And can you repeat the question again? I just want to make sure I'm answering it right.
So part of being communications director involves juggling multiple platforms, last-minute updates, and regular deadlines. How do you plan to stay organized and ensure consistent, timely communication every week?
Yeah, I think also a good way to stay organized would be to give yourself a deadline that's not the actual deadline, Say you give yourself a deadline a week in advance of everything, boom, you have it done in that week. So I think that would be a really good way to do it. And also maybe share that with my chairs that I would be working under above.
Gizelle, you touched a little bit on this one. I think for many years it's been a struggle on SHPE-UH social media, and I know you have been doing amazing this year, but I think we focus a lot on sharing flyers, and if you go through that Instagram page, you can see flyers and flyers, but we see very little of post events highlights or members highlight. Can you share a little bit of how maybe as a new communication director you're planning to improve that or change that part of the platforms?
I would love to integrate more recap reels about the more technical parts of UH. I went to a project share meeting where people were working on like electrical boards. I'm sorry, I'm not an engineer. I didn't understand any of it, but it was so interesting. And the people there were so dedicated, and they were they were on their laptops, they were working, but there were no cameras. I think somebody was taking pictures, but it was for an assignment maybe. But it was beautiful, and I couldn't believe, I felt so bad that it hadn't been published like anywhere. So I would love to highlight on all of those, maybe set more, since marketing chair, this was the first year with marketing chair, I would make a stronger, you know, it was a lot of trial and error with that chair. So making a stronger format, you know, having like a list, a guide for the next marketing chair would be extremely helpful to make sure that every event gets covered, just as much social as much as academic. Yeah.
Am I pronouncing you right? Gizelle or?
Giselle.
Giselle, hi,
Hello.
Jocelyn. How do you ensure clear and effective communication between the executive board and the general members?
General member.
Like
Great
your
question.
members?
Yeah. So Instagram has always been, you know, a big one, and I think it's important to stay with that. You know, we're all Gen Z, a little bit older, but a lot of us are on Instagram, and a good post that makes you laugh. You know, from personal experience, I've had people come up to me and just tell me that reel was really good as they're coming to the event that I made the reel for. So like, oh, this is perfect. Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for coming. You know, a lot of people go from social media, from seeing those reels that they can laugh at. And I'd say just communication, you know, communication director gotta communicate. You know, you have to talk to people. I encourage people to talk to other members. You know, I love how the leadership tells us to like push itself out there, and I think continuing that would be amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gizelle. I wanted to ask, what project, presentation, any kind of, I guess, task that you have accomplished in the past, do you feel most proud of that demonstrates these communication skills?
Oh, I like that question. I would say I am most proud of the GM recaps. Okay, guys, I know a lot of you have seen them. I personally love these recaps that I make for SHPE because it not only shows that we are a true familia, you see these different people in every single post, but we also see that we're not just like robots. You know, you're not just mechanical engineers, you're not just electrical engineers, you're people having fun, you're people having, like, eating food together, tamales, and winning prizes, silly little prizes, you know, like senior mechanical engineers winning Hello Kitty. Like, that's fun, that's like nice. And I feel like education, academics, important, guys, it is important, but showing that it's fun and it's a fun organization to join, it's just as important, and that's what helps.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you.